Hello, 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 and welcome back to the Formula Fun podcast with me, Sinéad.
And me, Jay. Hey.
We are so back.
We're back. Yeah, racing's back. And you know what?
It's back.
Well done, Formula One. Well done, Miami.
Right.
Really great race. Really great race. Kimi and Antonelli still leading the championship. Didn't see that one coming at the start of the weekend.
Unbelievable.
Crazy.
What a drive.
So yeah, just to rewind back through the weekend. So as we know, we had a prolonged period off because of the two races that weren't happening. And McLaren and Ferrari and a lot of other teams brought a lot of upgrades in the hope of closing that gap to the one and only Mercedes, who only brought 3 minor upgrades.
Yes.
But McLaren brought 9 upgrades, and we know from recent history, that they have started at the back at a couple of seasons, and then all of a sudden they come through the field, and then a year later win champion. So the correlation between what they do on track and what they do in the simulator and what they do when they build new things to bolt the car works. So we know that McLaren can upgrade a car really well. Ferrari brought 11 upgrades. That's a lot. That's a real, a huge amount. Ferrari were looking really, really good in practice, and then qualifying happened, and they put the soft tyres on, and they were there. So Ferrari, still some work to do, but Mercedes was still pretty quick, but McLaren really came out of the blocks firing for the sprint race.
They did, yeah. As evidenced in the results, Lando Norris, he's back, I guess. He's showing a lot better form, which was nice to see.
I think a lot of people thought that Lando Norris was a bit like, oh yeah, he got the championship last year, but it's just a different car, and you know, he's British, and it's a British team, so obviously they're going to favour Lando Norris. And I think a lot of people thought, it was just a 1-year wonder, and then we'll see. But then, he's come out firing.
That lasted for an entire year.
A one-off championship season where he is just going to be washed now and rubbish. But and to be fair, start of the year, didn't start one of the races, was rubbish in another one. And
there's only been 3 so far.
Japan wasn't a great showing for him. But then here, there he is. Hello. But Miami's always been a track that's very good to London.
You always have to think about that, like which tracks, quote unquote, suit which drivers and how that affects.
Yeah, like China was very much a Lewis Hamilton track, and it showed when he got his one and only podium for Ferrari. And since then, it's not gone so well. But I think a huge thing to talk about is that these regulations that they've changed, they've made tweaks. I think we said last week that as much all the gibberish and jargon that they've written, I was like, I don't really understand it because I don't understand how a battery works in terms of kilojoules and kilowatts, etc. But it seems to have worked. Not in the sprint. So we were doing the rewind, weren't we? The rewind itself, in terms of the sprint, I was a little bit like, a bit stale. Wasn't much overtaking.
No.
It was just lights to flag. There was a couple of exciting bits at the start. That was about it. And I was a little bit worried that these new regulation tweaks they've made might
hadn't made any difference.
Well, made a difference, but in a bad way. Because the first 2 races, it was like overtaking all over the place. And it was very good, but the difference in speed was worrying and safety concerns. Whereas this was like, they're all just in a procession and not really going for an overtake. That's a little bit worrying because it's going to get boring again. Then the race happened. What a race!
What a race! It was gripping from beginning to end. I mean, we were on the edge of our seats the entire time.
I actually was doing a show yesterday. I was performing, and I got back at 5:59, and this race lasted 6 p.m. Yeah.
Well done.
Thank you. And I was going to say something about the fact that I don't remember.
Brilliant.
I think I was going to say that I haven't really been over, in terms of the news updates that happened after the race, the sprint race and stuff, and the qualifying, and like the pre-chats, the coverage that they do on TV, I was just like not privy to any of that, because I was like, I arrived, watched the race, and I was like, oh, Verstappen's spinning. Actually, this race was very much like, you spin,
right? There were quite a few spins. Yeah,
Verstappen losing it. First lap.
Rare to see Max make a genuine mistake that was. Well, maybe you're going to say that it wasn't a mistake, but based on what I saw and listening to the commentators, who for me are obviously very knowledgeable, they even called it a mistake on his part, as opposed to it being something that was out of his control. So
yes, so Leclerc and Verstappen ambushed basically Kimi and Antonelli and went around either side, but then late braked. But then I don't think Verstappen expected Leclerc and his Ferrari to be on the inside, which then would have been the outside of turn 2, and Verstappen, foot flat to the floor over the curb, just spun it. And then Martin Brundle said genius,
right?
Because he was able to spin it round in one whole 360, which I get. But it wasn't genius. He lost the car.
He kept saying it as well. He kept being like, genius move. And then later on, when Leclerc spinned right near the end, I was like, does that mean Leclerc is a genius too? Because he didn't say anything of the sort.
Well, Leclerc did bang into the wall and break his suspension, so
but he did keep going. He didn't, he spun around like he was in Mario Kart, and then he kept going.
Yes, but I have a question for you. So Verstappen spun, lots of goings on track in terms of lots of overtaking, lots of opportunities, which was great. I thought it was really good racing. Can you explain to me how an overtake works? As in, like, why is a driver behind able to overtake a car in front? From like there's certain things on the track that allow them to do that.
Right. So first of all, to overtake, a driver needs to be within 1 second of the car in front at the yellow line that comes near the end of the track. If they are within
what
1
happens
second,
if they get that? Yes.
They get an extra kilojoule of energy for the whole of the next lap. Which means that if the driver in front isn't within a second of the car in front of them, they don't have that extra kilojoule of energy. So, therefore, the driver behind has an advantage in terms of how much energy they can use to effect an overtake.
Once they've overtaken that person, what happens to that energy?
It goes away.
Sorry, one more time.
Is this a
Wi-Fi connection.
Is this a rhetoric, like, is this a trick question, or are you genuine?
No, not at all.
No?
Not at all.
Okay.
I'm genuinely just asking. For somebody, as in, like, I think I'm quite well versed in Formula 1, and I'm asking somebody who maybe is more of a drive survive fan, and I'm just trying to understand if you understand how it works.
So I don't ever recall anyone saying what happens. My guess would be that it goes away. But, and I do listen very carefully to what everyone's saying, because I like to learn things during the race, and I have quite a good memory for recalling that kind of information, and I don't remember hearing anybody explain what happens after that. So tell me, do you know?
Yes, so they keep the energy, so they keep that additional energy that they have, or the additional boost, which they're calling overtake, because all drivers also have boost. They keep that for the remainder of the lap.
So but that means then maybe logically follows that they have more likelihood to re-overtake the person. No, wait, I'm getting confused now. Right, just
so
scratch everything that I've just said. Yeah.
No, I get what you mean. If you're behind and you get the overtake, you overtake, and then technically you should be able to then pull a little bit further ahead so that the other person doesn't get the overtake. Okay. So I would say you have got more into Formula 1 over the past couple of years, but probably even more so since we've started this podcast, and you just about get it. For an average fan who's just going, oh, the Formula 1 race is on this weekend, I'm going to watch it, I don't think it's clear. Like, when we watched it last year and the years gone by with DRS, there was a visual aid to show us, oh, that flap is clearly open, therefore they're within 1 second behind. behind, they've got DRS, they can overtake. I just think that Formula 1 really needs to like make that really obvious. There is one yellow line on the exit of turn 17 with a sign that says OT, overtake. And that's the only thing. And if you're not watching that part of the track in the TV coverage, you don't. All I'm doing for the entire race is watching the timing tower, which is the timing on the left-hand side, seeing what the gaps are. Like there needs to be like some sort of like, how can you make it really simple? Like a colour code, like a very a different tint over the driver who has overtake for that lap to go, oh, we've cut to this battle that's happening on track. Oh, as we can see from the timing tower and also all the graphics that do come up, Charles Leclerc has overtake mode, so therefore he might be likely to get past this car. Oh, it's not, he doesn't have it on this lap because we can tell that just by looking. You've got to know at that point of the track that they are 1 second behind, therefore they might have an opportunity to overtake this lap.
Yeah.
If you suddenly cut to a battle on track and you go, oh, we actually don't know because we weren't following that part of the
because we didn't see them come
race.
across the yellow line.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That still needs work from a communication point of view, I think.
Yeah.
Would you
I think you're right. Yeah.
Would you agree, or do you think it doesn't matter? Do you think an average Joe watching this just goes, it's entertaining, sure. Don't know how it works, but it's entertaining.
Well, it depends how average the Joe is, because some people that I know, and even myself a few years ago, didn't understand even, this can sound so stupid, like, why can't a car just overtake? Like, just overtake. Do you know what I mean?
No, I do, I get it. Especially when you're just watching it for the first time. You're like, why can't that car go?
Why can't you just drive faster?
Just put your foot down. Come on. Lazy. Pulling 5G. Rubbish. Put your foot down.
Yeah. Very good. Also, this is my like recurring thing, although is going back to Max, is that Max won driver of the day.
Did he?
Yes. By quite a significant margin, and the little graphic on the screen at the end was like, Max Verstappen, driver of the day, started third, ended sixth. It's like, in what world?
I mean, so he spun, then he was a genius.
Yes.
Because he got it back on track.
Yes.
And then
he pulled quite a number of dirty moves.
Well, he pitted, didn't he? He pitted quite early
Yes.
during that safety car after his teammate. Oh, let's talk about that. Poor
Right. Per Hajar.
like a lapse of concentration.
Yeah.
That's a really tricky part of the track in terms of like, I mean, because I drive all the time. That's a really tricky part of the track in terms of really twisty. It's like a really cool like now section. It's just a bit clumsy. And I think it was like literally commentary said like an actually 2 inches.
Yeah.
2 inches different, and he would have hit the corner. He would have made the corner, but he just clipped the wall slightly, broke his front suspension and the steering rack, and then he was angry.
So yeah, he sat in the driver's seat of that car for ages. It seemed like just like banging the steering wheel and hitting himself in the head. It always breaks my heart whenever drivers come on the mic and say, I'm really sorry guys, or something like that, where they're just like admitting full fault for whatever it is they've done. Yeah, I really did feel sorry for him. Yeah,
it was a driver error.
Yeah.
It was him. So
Yeah.
poor guy. But he'll come back. He's very, very, very. He's a tough cookie and a strong
He
racer,
is.
I think.
He's really resilient. Yeah.
So Verstappen, I think, was one of the only ones to pit at that time. Bolts on the hard tyres, and I was like, no way is he making it to the end. He made,
But then you forgot that he's
spoiler, he made it to the end. And he, dirty. You've just mentioned it. Some questionable moves.
To quote Carlos Sainz, he thinks because he's in the midfield, he can do whatever he wants.
Yeah, he thinks he can just pass between cars, however and whenever he likes.
Yeah.
He at the end of the first lap, I think he made contact with like 4 or 5 cars. Lap 1.
And I think his lowest position was like 16th. Max's.
Yeah, he
So,
dropped
like,
down to 16.
As a comeback, that's really impressive. But, you know, the bare stats are that he started higher than he finished. which, you know,
It started second and he finished.
until his penalty was awarded post-race and he dropped
Still
from fifth. Nope. Definitely not. I mean, I don't know why I'm double checking. You're honestly right. Oh yes, you're correct.
Because of Charles Leclerc's penalty. That was probably one.
Right.
That's probably
There
why.
we go.
So,
Yeah.
penalties. Let's
Yes.
get into that. Who got
Let
a
me ask
penalty?
you.
Oh, God.
Right. And this is just going to be me repeating what the commentators were saying, but I also thought this before they said it. Why did they wait until after the race to verify whether Max was getting that penalty or not? I think so. How they divided the penalties down was like some of the penalties are facts that can't be argued with. So like either you did it or you didn't. Other penalties are subject to opinion and rewatching, and you know, was someone off track limits? They have to rewatch the footage to see if they were. So with a penalty like the one Max we now know did commit, why wouldn't they just put that in as the race was happening?
Yeah, okay, so the penalty in question is the fact that as you leave the pit lane is where you change your tyres throughout the race. As you leave the pit lane, there is like a white line that is the exit of the pit lane, defines the exit of the pit lane. You're not allowed to cross that white line onto the racetrack because of safety reasons, and also it's just part of the rules. You're not allowed to do it. Max Verstappen, not clear. You can't tell from the onboard camera that we all see as viewers watching this on TV. You can't tell that he is crossing the white line, but it looks like he's very, very, very close to crossing the white line. So they went, oh, driver under investigation for crossing the white line at the pit exit. Then this will be investigated after the race. This sport is worth billions of pounds, dollars, however you want to put it. Why have they not got some sort of technology in probably the most advanced technology sport in the world? Why have they not got something that goes beep 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 over? Sorry.
Yeah.
Or even a camera that they can look at to go, yes, he crossed the line. If it's a rule, and if it's a legitimate rule being like, oh, if he crosses over, done, or if he doesn't cross over, not done, just have a camera there. Because like you said, it's a slam dunk. If they are caught speeding in the pit lane, there is a thing in there that can go, oh, that car did 3 kilometers over the pit lane speed limit, therefore, penalty.
Yeah, penalty. Yeah.
There is points in the track where there are track limits, and if you go over this line, there is a camera there to show that the tyres have all gone over this line. Oh, penalty. But that one didn't. So whether there was a broken camera or whether they didn't have access to that camera, I'm not sure. So he should have got the penalty during the race. Instead, it was just prolonged. Oh, he might get a penalty. The other one that happened was in the sprint qualifying. Alex Albon broke track limits and went wide or cut a corner or something like that. I didn't watch sprint qualifying, sorry. But it meant that Liam Lawson would have gone through to Q2, but instead was knocked out in Q1 because Alex Albon got through whilst cutting a corner. But they then decided at the end of the entire qualifying session, oh, Alex Albon's got a penalty and he won't start from the position he qualified in Q2. He will start from where he qualified in Q1 without that lap.
But
then you're like,
doesn't get the
the
well, this
opportunity
brings me to
Q2.
what I was going to say is that maybe somebody listening is going, well, why does it matter whether the penalty is awarded in the race or after? And maybe with Max it doesn't matter so much because he's such a good driver, but if he had to serve a 5-second penalty in the pit while the race was happening, that could have affected the outcome of the results quite significantly.
100%. Yeah, 100%. It would have been a case of because
he would have had to fight his way through all those cars again.
Yeah,
which
the
he might not
field
have been.
field spread, which is like the amount of time that is between like cars on a racetrack, is so much greater at the end of the race than it is during the race because the faster cars, every lap were just getting immensely further away. So therefore, if it happened during the race, he would have had to pit, do a drive-through. It could have been a case of there will be an added time penalty onto the end of his race, but at least we would have known that, and he would have been racing towards trying to be 5-10 seconds ahead of whoever. But it's these decisions where like the decision making is happening in the office after a race I'm not keen on. Now, with the two other potential penalties, one of them that actually came through, one was Charles Leclerc on the final lap, and the other one was George Russell also on the final lap. I understand that can't be made right away.
Yeah.
They need to wait, and they need to go, hang on, let's have a look at all the different video footage, let's hear from the drivers, let's understand what happened. And basically what happened is Leclerc chasing Piastri, who had just overtaken him on the penultimate lap for a podium position, I might add, tried to chase Piastri, tyres were done, he spun, he hit the wall. Not very hard, but hard enough to break something, and then he limped home to get across the line, but in doing so wasn't able to really turn left. So just ended up cutting every corner to get there, and because of that, and because of them driving a little bit erratically when trying to defend the position when he really had he didn't have
He had no business doing that. Yeah.
They've given him a penalty to push him back, and I think he's now 8th.
He is now 8th. Yes, correct.
Yeah. So they gave him a 20-second time penalty to be 8th, and that's so sad because Charles Leclerc was leading the race for about a third of the race.
Yep.
Well, I'd say about a third, but I think like 14, like 13, 14. But he was doing a good job, and he got a really good start, and he blamed no one but himself. He said, I shouldn't have... Yeah, he threw the race away in the bin, is what he said. I feel a bit sorry for him because Leclerc, Ferrari just can't catch
a break
at the moment. Every year.
Yeah.
Every year.
So, some other penalties or other incidents that resulted in penalties. So, Gasly
flipped.
Very sad. He flipped as a result of being hit by Lawson.
But what was the penalty?
For Lawson.
As in, did he get one?
It was, yeah, he did.
Okay, because I know that Lawson, it wasn't all his fault. There was an issue with his gearbox or something. And when these cars do touch wheels in a certain way, it's actually quite strange that we don't see more F1 cars flipping upside down on those sort of like clumsy accidents in the corner. For the record, Gasly was fine and he flipped upside down. Then was back on all four wheels, but was sort of like resting against the tyre wall, so his car was at an angle.
It looked quite scary, though, didn't it? Like it looked like it could have been a lot worse than it actually was.
Could have been, yeah. He was able to get out and he was fine, but Lawson, something was wrong with his gearbox or something. Which meant he wasn't able to change or something like that.
Well, I might go back and double check that. You're wrong. I'm nearly always wrong. But I was extra sad for Gasly because he's been having such a good season so far. Like, I'm pretty sure up until yesterday he was in the points for every race that he, apart from
he pretty much was. This whole weekend though has not been great. Every time it's been like, this has happened or that's happened, or
right.
Car not doing what it wanted to because of this, that, and the other. Teammate though, Colapinto. What did I say at the start of the year? And the amount of rubbish I got on social media being like, you think Colapinto's going to do well this year on your bike? He's having a good year.
He is, yeah. He's had 2 of his career best results back to back now, which is amazing. I just want to quickly correct. I said Pierre Gasly didn't finish in the points in the sprint, but he did. He came 8th, so he got 1 point. Yeah, no, Colapinto really held his own, and in fact, he finished better in this race than last time because of the penalty of Leclerc. So at the race's finish, he was 8th, which is a match, and then he moved up to 7th. So yeah, good for him because he didn't get any points at all last season. It's not really bad for him.
He's doing well, and I think The Alpine as well. Yeah, fair play
Yeah.
to them. Alpine's doing a good job too. What happened to George Russell this weekend?
Oh goodness. What a bad time he had. It was just really hard to watch. As a Russell fan, it was really hard to watch from beginning to end. He didn't really seem to get into a stride at any point. You know, neither during qualifying, not during the sprint, and not during the race either. And I think it was exacerbated by the fact that his younger, less experienced teammate is smashing it so hard. Now, because of that fact, you tell me, can he really blame the car if another driver is driving so well? In equal machinery, as I believe we call it.
Yeah, I think so. Russell came out and openly said, and actually I think he handled the interviews very well, because I think he could have been absolutely
Well, he's
baked
always been a
for
good
all-
PR guy, hasn't he?
Yeah, but
Yeah.
I feel like he was a bit more honest. I feel like when George Russell speaks to the camera, it is very much like, this is the team, what the team want me to say, and I'm very good at this. But I feel like he was very much like, yeah, look, some tracks I'm good, some tracks I'm not, and a low grip track like this, I've never had a good time in Miami, so I kind of expected it, but he didn't expect the McLarens to be as fast as they were, so I think that was a bit like, oh, that's a shock. But in terms of his teammate, he was just very open and went, I'm just not great at this, and also I've never really underestimated Kimi. He's been great since he arrived. He won everything in the junior Formula Championships and things, and he was like, look, no, Kimi is an amazing driver. I just need to hope he comes back to me at some point, and I think it will. The championship is a long season, and
Yeah.
I was listening to something earlier, and someone mentioned that we are missing the fact that Kimi Antonelli was terrible at some of the tracks last year.
Yeah.
He learned a lot in his first year, but we haven't gone to any of those tracks yet where things didn't go his way and wasn't. And I say terrible, I say that in the nicest way possible, because he is 19 and he is
Very
absolutely
Yeah.
smashing it.
Yeah.
But I think are people going to jump down George Russell's throats and go, oh, he's lost it, he's rubbish now, he's not forgotten how to drive, he's absolutely fine. Just some tracks going to suit him and some tracks going to suit Kimi. The fact that you now have McLaren's, Ferraris, and at the moment maybe 2 Red Bulls in there, means that if you are having a slightly off weekend, instead of it being, I'm still going to get second because our car is so much superior over the rest of the field, it could be a 6th or a 7th or even an 8th if you're having a slightly off weekend. Take Lewis Hamilton. He finished in 7th and just sort of in no man's land because he had a little bit of damage on lap 1 with Colapinto.
Yeah.
That's all it takes. A little bit of damage and you lose so many points downforce, and you're going to be slower. You're just going to be sort of sat nowhere because the gap between the midfield and the front runners is so big.
Yeah. I think one thing we didn't quite touch on at the beginning was because we were talking about upgrades, is that Mercedes haven't brought supposedly all their upgrades yet. They're planning to bring them to Montreal, which is the next race. It's happening in 2 weeks. So it's possible that things will be on the up for him again once those upgrades have come in.
And he won Montreal last year. He likes Montreal.
Yeah.
But
It
I
also
think-
means for Kimi, like if Kimi managed to win that race without those upgrades, it's even more impressive. Like,
well, if Kimi wins that race, he is over a race win ahead of the champion.
yeah, because at the moment
Which is
the
mental.
margin is 20 points.
20 points, yeah. So that's bonkers. But yeah, if Kimi keeps on doing what he's doing, great job. And you know what? Even his interview at the end of the race wasn't like, yeah, it was perfect. Like he knew there was still some bits he needed to work on. And the fact that we had a race, Miami really didn't love it because it didn't feel as artificial as any of the other races.
No.
And we had at one point Charles Leclerc was leading, then we had Norris leading, then we had Antonelli leading for a short time, and then we had then we had Piastri. You okay? You okay?
Yeah, you froze.
Did I?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll go back. I just heard you go. yeah, we had Charles Leclerc leading. We had Norris overtake Kimi Antonelli and then overtake Charles Leclerc. Then we had Piastri leading for a short time. Kimi Antonelli then came out and overtook Norris and then led the rest of the race. And I think Norris thought he was going to get on top of himself. Didn't, because Antonelli just held it together. Now, I have a question. Do we think McLaren were terrified to pit because of the rain? Because I think if McLaren stopped before Kimi Antonelli, McLaren would have won the race.
Yes, I did hear rumblings of, was this a strategy fumble on their part? Yeah, there's every chance. I mean, McLaren have a bit of a history of not judging pit stops very well. There was a race last year. You probably know, you can remember which one it was. Or maybe you can off the top of your head. But there was a really huge fumble that they made last year that was pit related. Yeah. So I think yes, there is a pretty big chance that they could have won had that not happened. But as we always say, if, but when, but it didn't happen, so therefore it didn't win.
I mean, on the face of it, Kimi Antonelli has had a slight bit of luck, if you want to look at it that way. Like, he had a bit of luck with the safety car in Japan, he had a bit of luck with Russell having some issues with his car in China, and he had a bit of luck yesterday with Norris and McLaren just not pitting because there was rain
Yes.
that never came.
Yeah, no, it was a light drizzle at most.
They moved the race 3 hours.
Commentators were saying like, oh, it looks like it's raining, and I was like, does it? Like, I can't see any rain.
They moved the race 3 hours before. 2020, I want to say 21. There was a race in Spa, and everyone knew this rain was coming, and it was going to be torrential, and it was going to be horrific, and they did nothing about it. The race didn't happen. They did 2 laps behind the safety car, I think. That was it. They just cancelled it, which was a shame for all those people that pay money to see a race. But
Yeah.
so it's good that Formula One and the FIA, are making these decisions to go, well, let's not be in a position where it might not be able to happen because of thunderstorms. Instead, let's just do a race but a little bit sooner. So yeah, they're doing the right things in the sport, and I really do think after all of the backlash F1 and the FIA got in regards to the new format, these new cars, still a bit of tweaking still to do. Oscar Piastri, the driver's cool down room, saying you cannot defend in these cars, it's impossible.
Yes,
Someone is, you look in your mirror and then they're like half a second even further behind, and all of a sudden, just because they have such a speed differential because of the boost, overtake, how they've conserved their battery, whatever you want to call it, you're a sitting duck, there's no chance to defend. So I'm sure there's still some work to be done, but a massive improvement considering where we were at for these regulations and the racing, and it's still working. Well, jury's out yet, it's only one race, but it still seems to be working. And now we're going to one of my favourite tracks on the entire F1 calendar, which is Montreal, which I've been to, not during a race, but I've been to the track. It's awesome. Is there anything else that
for me, there was one other very cool thing, is that usually toward the end of a race, you're like, oh, they're just finishing it off, they're all driving around, and this person's going to win, and there's no kind of... Now, obviously, it was quite obvious that Antonelli was going to win, and that Lando was going to come second. But the 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th was right up until literally the finish line. I'm sure things like that have happened, of course they have, but I don't remember seeing a race recently that you literally saw them overtaking and trying to battle for position right up until they crossed the finish line. It was amazing. It was so exciting and cool to watch.
Yeah. Miami and Formula One, you have delivered.
Yes.
Great stuff. There was one other thing that I had, and now I've forgotten what. Oh, the 2 things. Firstly, the Williams double points.
Yay!
I'm really happy for them. I mean, I know it wasn't fantastic, and they want to so much be further up the road, and Sainz vented his frustration after spring qualifying, but in general, really good. I think really good.
Yeah.
Well done. Well done, Williams. Secondly, how has Max Verstappen changed his tune after saying, I don't like this, and even if I was winning, I don't like this, and now he's like, yeah, no, we're doing really well. We've halved the deficit, and I'm really enjoying these cars. It's like, oh, come on, dude.
Well, it's funny you should say that, because every time we jump on to record here, I swear that you're like, oh, these regulations, they're crap. And then the next week you're like, I don't know, I think they could be quite good. And then the next week you're like,
I know. It's that whole thing of being like, yes, they're good, but how artificial is the racing? But I think they're sort of bridging the gap now, and it looked like, especially in qualifying, that the driver could make the difference, which is why we watch racing.
Yes.
Whereas last couple of races, it wasn't so much that.
No.
But yeah, we're getting there.
The final and most important thing, the Formula One tune has a remix.
Does it?
Did you watch the presentation of the 1, 2, 3 prizes after the sprint?
No, I just watched the sprint.
Right.
I had to go to rehearsal.
So the little stage where they come on, it's not the same as the presentation of awards after the race.
Yes.
It's just a little like box on the track. I think, and above the little box there was a DJ like playing music to the crowd, but it was kind of awkward because I was like, the DJ was like giving it stacks, like doing all this, but it was like in the middle of the day and like no one was paying any attention to him. But then it turns out that DJ is the guy who wrote the F1 theme tune, and now he's made a remix of it, and it absolutely slaps. It's so good.
Oh, does it?
Yeah. It's class. They were playing snippets of it throughout the weekend in the background when they were showing various things. So you go and listen to it. It's absolutely... We were actually saying we're going to have it at our wedding.
Yes. Oh my god. Yes. Love that.
Yeah.
I'll have to listen to it.
Yeah.
Because I think that F1 theme slaps anyway. I think
It
feels
does.
very much like superhero. Like,
Yeah.
Same key as the traitors. Same key as the traitors. Shall we go to our race predictions very quickly and then see where we're at? Okay.
I'm going to get 0.
So, in last place, qualifying last, Sinead, you said Colapinto. How
Oh my
wrong were you?
god, I really regret that now. I'm sorry, Franco.
And I said
Sorry.
Bottas, but unfortunately it was Automato. Then
Bottas
for the...
did he even start? No, of course he didn't start. Somebody did.
started.
Yeah, anyway. He started.
Bottas qualified in 19th. Okay, then on pole position, I had Piastri, and you had Leclerc. But in pole position, we all know, was Mr. Kimi Antonelli, the third person to get his consecutive 3 pole positions after his first. Does that make sense? So he
All the
joined the
stats they were
club.
flying around, I was like, that can't be true. And then I was like, no, wait, I understand now what you're saying. Yeah, I was like,
He
surely
joins
other
a
drivers
club
should- Yeah.
of Ayrton Senna and Michael Schumacher for the only driver to pole position. The first one they ever get, first one he's ever got, was in China, and then he doubles it up with one in Japan, and then the next race, Miami. And the only other 2 drivers to do that is Schumacher and Ayrton Senna, which is quite
A club to be in.
quite a club to join. Yeah.
But also,
Antonelli.
as well as that, he's the first ever driver to convert pole to a win in 3 times in a row from his first pole
Yes, he is, and that's
ever.
just wrecked my quizifying question. Anywho,
Well, I was actually wondering why you hadn't brought it up, because
yep. So I put Piastri, you put Leclerc, and it was Antonelli who got pole. Moving on. Best of the rest. I had Behrman, you had Gasly. You were oh so close to Gasly. It was Colapinto. And then in 5th place, I think you're going to be pleasantly surprised. In 5th place, I had Leclerc. You had Verstappen. Guess who it was?
Verstappen.
Max Verstappen. You got 2 points. In 4th place, I had Kimi and Antonelli. Now, if anyone is new to our Quizifying, no, this isn't Quizifying, to our Grand Predictions. So, if you are new to this, if they are in the top 5, we get 1 point, and if we get the position exact, we get 2 points. So I had Antonelli, he won, so therefore I get 1 point.
1 point.
You had Hamilton, he did not finish in the top 5, so you don't score anything, because who did score 4th was your man George Russell, who then flew back from Miami and is still stood right behind you. In 3rd place, I had Norris, came 2nd, so I get 1 point. You had Piastri for a 2-pointer, because Piastri came in, well done. In 2nd, I had Russell, who came 4th, so you get 1 point. In 2nd, you had Leclerc, which was not correct, and not in the top 5, so you get no points because it was Lando Norris. And in 1st place, I had Piastri, you had your boy Russell, so we both get 1 point because it was Kimi and Antonelli. So this week, Sinead, you have scored 5 points to my 4.
Woohoo! There we
Coming
go.
back. You are coming back.
Let's not get ahead of ourselves.
Wonderful. Okay, do you want to do your Quizifying? Because I need to think of something else to say after my question has been sabotaged.
Right. Or you don't have, we could just...
That's good. It's all
Do you
fine.
have a Formula Fun fact?
No, that's your turn this week.
Yes. That's okay. I've got something. Okay. So, as we know, part of the reason why this race was so exciting is that it had a number of race leaders. Quite a few. 4. Which, you don't see that often. However, I want you to tell me what is the record for the highest number of different lap leaders in a single Formula One Grand Prix?
Different lap leaders or different leaders?
Well, it's the same thing.
Is it? Okay. Different leaders in a Formula One Grand Prix. How many has there been? What's the highest? I am immediately going, I have no idea, but I'm thinking, is it ridiculously high, like 10? But that is a ridiculous number, unless it was a huge, chaotic race. So I think I'm going to go down a tad, and I'm going to say 7. It might be 6.
It's 8.
It's 8,
So
the other way.
very
Wow,
close.
okay.
So do you want to know when and where?
I do.
Okay. So it was in the 1971 Italian Grand Prix at Monza. And that race also holds 2 other records. It holds the record for the most lead changes, 25. And it was the fastest race ever, with the top 5 cars covered by only 0.01 seconds at the finish.
I have seen that. Wait, crossing the line. Very good. Thank you very much. Okay, my Quizifying question. Which team has won the most Constructors' Championships in Formula One history?
Ferrari.
Correct. Well done.
Yay!
Very good. That was a very off-the-cuff question that I just had in the back of my head, because my actual question was going to be, who was the last driver to convert his 3 career pole positions into wins?
Kimi Antonelli.
Yeah. And who was the driver before that? There wasn't one.
Yeah.
Because Kimi Antonelli, it was a trick question, because Kimi Antonelli is the first one to do it.
Well, that's what you get for making a trick question.
It's what I get for talking to somebody who actually I'm underestimating how much they're really taking an interest in Formula One. I'm like, Sinead won't listen to that. She's just watching it as well. No, it's good. It's good. Wonderful. Well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for listening or watching our little podcast here at Formula Fun. But Sinead, I think it's time to box.
Yes, it is.
Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, you've been listening to the Formula Fun podcast.
With the J, where J brings the formula.
There we go. And Sinead brings the fun. Please like, rate, subscribe, download, do all the nice things. Thank you so much. See you soon. Goodbye.